Your brain forgets 90% of what you experience every single day. It's not failure, not disease, not you getting old. It's the smartest thing your mind does. Neuroscientists just proved something impossible. Forgetting is more important than remembering. Your survival depends on it, but you spend your whole life trying to do the opposite. What if you were fighting against the only mechanism keeping you functional? You walk into a room, you know you needed something, but the memory is gone. You stand there, scanning, rewinding your mental tape. Nothing. The moment you stop trying, it comes back. This happens to you multiple times a day. You think it's distraction, stress, too much coffee. But here's what's actually happening. Your brain just ran a cleanup program. It deleted the route you took to get there, the color of the walls you passed, the 47 micro decisions your body made walking down the hallway. All gone instantly. Because if your brain kept all of that, you'd be drowning in data you don't need. You're not broken when you forget. You're optimized. Neuroscientists call this active forgetting, not passive decay, not memory failure, active, intentional, deletion. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain that makes memories, has a second job you never knew about. It decides what to erase. Right now, as you listen to this, neurons are firing specifically to weaken connections, to make certain memories fade. It's not happening by accident. It's happening by design. Studies show your brain uses almost as much energy forgetting as it does remembering. Think about that. Half of your brain's memory system exists purely to make you forget. That's not a bug. That's the feature that keeps you alive. If you've ever felt guilty about forgetting something important, drop a in the comments. Because here's what nobody tells you. The things you forget aren't random. Your brain has a priority system, a triage protocol. It keeps what matters. It dumps what doesn't. But here's the problem. You don't get to choose what matters. Your brain does. And sometimes, most times, it chooses differently than you would. That person's name you can't remember, your brain decided it wasn't. Survival critical. That childhood memory that faded, your mind determined it wasn't worth the storage space. You thought forgetting was loss, but it's actually protection. Protection from the weight of everything. Your brain creates memories through connections. Neuron A fires, neuron B responds. A pathway forms. The more you use that pathway, the stronger it gets. But here's what's terrifying. Every pathway that strengthens means another must weaken. Your brain has limited resources, limited energy, limited space. So it plays a zero-sum game. When you learn something new, really learn it, something old gets overwritten, not metaphorically, literally. The proteins that held that old memory together get recycled, broken down, repurposed. Your brain is constantly cannibalizing itself, taking apart old structures to build new ones. That sunset you can't quite remember, your brain turned it into the ability to recognize your child's face. Your brain processes 11 million bits of information per second. You're consciously aware of about 40. 11 million in, 40 out. Everything else, filtered, compressed, deleted. Every single day, your hippocampus forms thousands of new memories. Within 24 hours, 90% are gone. Within a week, 95%. Within a month, you're operating on less than 1% of what you experienced. That's not memory failure. That's precision engineering. Because if you remembered all 11 million bits, you'd be catatonic. Your brain would spend all its energy indexing and storing, none left for living. The forgetting isn't the problem. The forgetting is what gives you room to exist. Your brain isn't forgetting badly. It's remembering wrong. The system isn't broken because you forget. It's broken because you can't. If this is making you uncomfortable, you're exactly where you need to be. Because here's the truth. Every memory you think defines you doesn't. It's a story you keep telling about something that no longer exists. The person you were when that memory formed, dead. Replaced cell by cell years ago. The place where it happened, changed, rebuilt, gone. The only thing keeping that memory alive is you, rehearsing it, replaying it, preserving what your brain was trying to release. You're not honoring the past, you're embalming it. So here's the question that changes everything. What if the memories you keep are the problem? You think forgetting is loss, that remembering is treasure. But what if it's backwards? What if the memories you hold on to, the ones that won't fade, aren't the important ones? What if they're the traumatic ones, the unresolved ones, the ones your brain can't process and delete? Your worst memories stick because your brain hasn't figured out how to let them go. Think about that. The things you remember aren't evidence of a good memory. They're evidence of unfinished processing. What if you were never supposed to carry them? What if remembering is the wound and forgetting is the healing? This started before you were even you. Your first memories, the earliest ones you have, they're not even accurate. Neuroscientists call them fictional autobiographies. Stories you've told yourself so many times, you believe they're real. But here's what actually happened. You were born forgetting. As a child, your brain created and destroyed millions of memories every day. It had to. You were learning everything. Language, physics, social rules, how to be human. Your brain couldn't keep all that trial and error. So it kept the lessons and deleted the learning process. That's why you don't remember learning to walk, or talk, or read. You remember who you became became, not how you got there. And that's not loss, that's transformation. But somewhere along the way, you learned to fight it. You were told, never forget. Remember your history. Remember the pain. Remember who hurt you. Remember, or you're doomed to repeat. So you built a memory palace, and you locked yourself inside it. The thing that was supposed to protect you, remembering, became the thing trapping you. Because here's what happens when you refuse to forget. You don't live in the present. You live in the archive. Every new experience gets filtered through old memories. Every new person gets compared to past wounds. You're not being careful. You're being a prisoner. And the cruelest part? You're both the prisoner and the guard. You carry every version of yourself you refuse to let die. The 14-year-old who was bullied, the 22-year-old who was betrayed, the 30-year-old who failed. They're all still in there, taking up space, and you think that's loyalty, honoring your past. But here's what it actually is. It's refusing to let yourself evolve, because you can't become new if you won't let the old versions dissolve. Your brain knows this. That's why it fights to forget, but you override it. You rehearse the stories. You polish the pain. You make museums out of moments that were supposed to be compost. And meanwhile, right now, this second, life is offering you something new, but you can't receive it. Your hands are full of yesterday. So here's what has to happen, and it's going to hurt. You have to let them die, not the memories themselves. The you that those memories made. You have to stop being the person who was hurt. Stop being the person who failed. Stop being defined by what happened. And that feels like betrayal, like erasure, like killing something precious. But it's not death, it's release. If you're still here, if you've made it this far in this video, part of you already knows what needs to go. Part of you has already chosen. The question isn't whether to let go. The question is whether you'll forgive yourself for moving on. And then, nothing. There's a space, an absence, a void where that old self used to be. And it's terrifying because you don't know yet what replaces it. You're not who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. You're in between. The Buddhists have a word for this. Bardo, the transitional state, the space between death and rebirth. Most people can't tolerate this. So they rush to fill it. They grab another identity, another story, another way to be solid. But what if you didn't? What if you just stayed here in the not knowing, in the emptiness? What if this void isn't absence? What if it's space? Space for something real to finally emerge. And then, slowly, something shifts. Not a thought, not a decision, a sensation. You notice you're breathing. You forgot you were breathing. You notice the room you're in. You forgot there was a room. You notice you're still here, without the stories, without the past selves, without the identity. You're still here. And that's strange, disorienting, because if you're here without all that, what are you? And the answer comes, quiet and absurd. Just this, just aware, just present. Not the person who experienced things, the awareness that experiences. And it's so simple you almost laugh. This was always here, underneath everything you thought you were. You don't need to remember everything to know who you are. You never did. The you that exists right now, this you, isn't made of memories. It's made of attention, of presence, of the capacity to notice you're alive. And that capacity, it never needed the past to function. You've been carrying all that weight, those stories, those identities, those preserved moments, thinking they were you, but they were just information, and your brain knew. Your brain was trying to tell you the whole time, let it go. Most of it doesn't matter. Most of it isn't even real anymore. If something shifted in you just now, even something small, that's enough. That's everything. Because what remains when you stop remembering is still you, and it's lighter. But here's the thing, you don't have to forget everything. Some memories stay, and that's okay. This isn't about erasing your past. It's about not being imprisoned by it. You can remember and still move forward. You can honor what happened without living there. Both are true. Forgetting is survival, and remembering is meaning. Your brain knows when to do which. The problem was never the remembering, it was the clinging. The difference between a memory and a prison is simple. Can you put it down? If you can visit it and then leave, it's a memory. If you live there, replay it, define yourself by it. It's a cage. You get to keep your past. You just don't have to carry it everywhere you go. So what happens now? You still forget things. You'll forget what you had for breakfast. You'll forget names. You'll walk into rooms and wonder why. And that's fine, because now you know. It's not failure, it's function. You'll still have memories that hurt. That's fine too. You just won't mistake them for who you are. You'll carry less. Not because you're forcing yourself to let go, but because you finally understand what's worth carrying. You won't be fixed. You won't be healed. You won't suddenly remember everything. You'll just be awake. Awake to the fact that most of your life happens in a present moment you keep missing, because you're too busy remembering or rehearsing. And sometimes you'll catch yourself living now, not then, and it'll feel strange. new, alive. Your brain has been trying to save you this whole time. Every forgotten name, every lost memory, every moment you couldn't hold on to, it was making room. Room for now, room for new, room for you to be something other than your history. So maybe the question isn't, why do I forget? Maybe it's, what am I making space for? Tell me in the comments. What memory are you finally ready to stop carrying? I'll read and respond to the first 100. You don't have to remember everything to matter. You just have to be here.